have John Meany from the city's Animal Control Division. John, why don't you just, I know you do more than dogs, so.
I feel like everything now.
Just start with an overview of the office and then maybe specifically what you can do with dogs.
Okay. Yeah, my name is John Meany. I'm the Assistant Commissioner over at Inspection Services, and for the last 2 months, the Interim Director for the Animal Care Unit. To kind of describe the Animal Care Unit, we have two components. One is the shelter, and one is the enforcement. So our enforcement, we enforce the leash laws, we enforce pooping, the pooper scooper law, we enforce stray dogs, noise complaints, vicious dogs, stray dogs. So anything that would warrant under the enforcement division, we respond. We pick up injured wildlife. We're talking about seagulls. We injured raccoons. Anything that might be injured and in danger for the animal itself or the public, we respond to, and we'll take it. The shelter component, once we do take an animal or wildlife under our control, and we do one or two things depending on how injured it is. If it's severely injured and it's nighttime, we'll bring it over to the hospital, have it evaluated. Other than that, it goes into our shelter. We hold all animals for a minimum of 7 days, where it's quarantined, it's tested. We have a veterinarian there who make sure they're safe. And then if it's a lost animal, they have 7 days to come up and to claim it. If they don't after 7 days, we'll put up for adoption. What we're doing the last couple of months, because about 2 months ago, some of you might have read, there was kind of a crisis in the shelter. Whatever happened, the partnerships weren't really happening between the Animal Control Unit and in the city here. We have two very large animal care, Animal Rescue League, and we have MSPCA. So one of my goals has been two things: to bridge those partnerships. So at the shelter, we have other resources to care for the animals that we do have. You know, the days, what I'm learning, and I've lived a lot in the last couple of months, you know, usually the animal control, they call for pound and you take the animals to it, but it's a whole new day now. It's really about the care of the animals once they're in our custody, how they're cared for, how they're treated, what their playtime, how they're evaluated, and where they go. They call it pathway plan. Our enforcement, when I'm done with the enforcement, we have 8 officers. We had 2 on an 11 to 7 in the morning shift. I've done away with that shift, so we have more officers in the daytime and more officers here to complain and to do surveillance on parks, police law, for pooping, and for tickets. One of the things I'm looking at right now is the tickets. You know, we have tickets. And one of the things they're going to be coming over to inspectional services at some point in the next couple of months, because there was no real attorneys assigned to this division that really could tell us and guide us. We now have 2 that are guiding us through our legal process, and one of those legal processes is the tickets. We write them, but if we can write them if somebody will cooperate with us. We see somebody on the beach, we'll approach them, and we'll say, okay, you know, write a ticket, ask them for their license, but we're not police. If it becomes a continuous person and they're habitually doing it, then we're going to ask the police to ask them to surrender license, surrender identification, so that we can then do enforcement. So we're kind of stuck there. Our presence alone, you know, our enforcement officer uniform, so our presence alone, we do it in Boston Common, and we'll do it wherever you need when you give me time frame. You tell me in the morning here, we've got these dogs, I'll send a surveillance team, and if we need be, we'll get the police to assist if we have somebody that's very, very stubborn. So we're working on the enforcement of the tickets to get more bite in it. We're working, currently we have a lot of legal cases coming up with vicious dogs. If we have dogs, a dog bite, please report it. Because we'll investigate it. We'll make sure that animals are treated for rabies. And if it's multiple, I did my first one today. I'm new at this, so multiple will have it for a hearing, a dangerous dog hearing. We have 3 of those that went out today. So if someone has an animal in your neighborhood, big once, twice, 3 times, and it continues to happen, document it, contact me, we'll get a hold of the owner, we'll get a petition, and then we'll have that dog in for a dangerous hearing. Leash law, it's, you know, that's enforceable. Again, what I need from you people is you tell me if it's a problem we have in the North End. I can't say I'm going to respond to every call you give me immediately. It's very hard to get a catch in that. We can give me windows of time when it does happen. You know, you tell me where and windows of time, and I'll make sure at least a couple of days a week we have an officer over there just to make the presence known. But a lot of times that itself helps. Mayor Walsh is very, very committed to making a lot more changes to the animal care unit. So we're really excited about some of the things that are going to come in the future. They're currently looking for a director, and kind of got a national search going on. So it's really, it's changed, believe it or not, it has changed. When you walk in, I went to a meeting, at the beginning of the week, it was the Homeless Animal Coalition. And they are big and they are strong. And their mission is to save feral cats. And they are establishing ranches to get money. And so it's a whole world, and the care of animals, what I've learned the last 2 months, is big, really big. And for everyone, it's different. Like what we do, we euthanize. We get wildlife. We get seagulls and their wings are broken. That's their air mechanism. What we do, the most humane thing to do is put them down. Some people don't think that, some people do. So we really are trained a lot with ARL and MSPCA. They're kind of our guides. We have a wonderful veterinarian on staff. When we do have the integration over inspectional services, they're going to work better. There used to be an inspectional service 20 years ago. So that enforcement out, they're going to work a lot better with us with our hearing process. When we get tickets flowing better, it'll be a much more visible unit. We've come a long way in 2 months, and we have a long way to go. I'll tell you one thing, I spent a lot of sleepless nights with this place. When I first got involved, my head was spinning, but I've learned an awful lot. So there's some good people.
How long have you worked in the city?
32 years. 32 years. Yeah. Right now, I still have a component of environmental health division and animal control.
Questions, Bob?
I guess it's my night tonight, right? From 5:30 to about 7, Ford, we have the largest contingent of animals running around on Christopher Columbus Park with no leashes.
Rodents?
People, dogs, and they're
7 o'clock in
looking,
the morning?
no, at night.
Night, okay.
They come home from work
Yeah.
and they run their dogs out there,
Unleashed.
unleashed.
Okay.
And if you tell them they have to be leashed, they tell you screw.
Okay.
So that's the times you can get, if you want to write tickets, you can write a lot of tickets there.
I'll make sure that we get there minimum once or twice a week. We have our officer go by there at 7 o'clock at night. We have a shift.
Before 7.
Before 6:30.
Between 5:30 and 7 is when they bring them out, they do their duty, and they take them back. They run around fighting each other, the dogs.
Okay.
Right, Ford?
That's true, although, Bob, I want to, remember last week, we were at the trellis lights, looking
Right.
at the test lights? And by the way, anyone who hasn't seen the test trellis lights that are up, the color lights, should check it out. But it was after sunset, so it would have been around 7:30 or so, and there was a group that assembled, owners of large dogs, and they all unleashed their large dogs, running around at night, unleashed. And I'm thinking this would sort of be scary if I weren't used to the park, you know, and all that, because you could wander out into the park and just have a huge dog run into you. So
If that ever happens again, that's the kind of thing we would want to a meeting. It's just 4,500 and say there's a pack. Let me tell you how to word it. A pack.
It happens every night.
But I will have an officer.
What I'm worried about is, you know, people walking down there, and if these dogs get, they're playing with each other. But then they get nasty and they growl at each other, so I'm worried about people walking down there getting bit.
Oh, understandable. We had one today. We had one today, dogs, took 2 dogs out, not leashed. Got out of the house, attacked 2 other dogs, killed one in the hospital, and bitten the owner. So 2 dogs are now in our custody, and the owner of those dogs are coming in for a hearing on the 24th.
I saw a girl down there with a Great Dane today. I almost died. I said, what in the world you doing with a dog that big in the city?
you
And
saw.
the owners are responsible for the care.
Laugh at you.
So
I
I'll have someone out there.
follow up to responsibility. Does your group regulate or manage in some way professional dog walkers who seem to be one of the worst violators of leash laws in Columbus Park and presumably other places as well? Is there any regulatory group that like really looks over them? And if they get a fine, is it just the same as a regular fine, or is there some step up for a professional like there is for a business where you might pay a higher tax? It seems that professional dog walkers, if they are leash law violators, you should throw the book at them.
I mean, we don't currently, but it's a real good idea. So if they're violating, wait, did they, if they're walking the dogs, they have 5 dogs, and each dog is defecating, or something, is that what we're talking about?
Well,
They get 5 tickets. So I mean, I don't know.
And all the
We have a
dogs
lot.
off leash. I
Oh,
mean,
same thing.
there's
Every
one
dog.
guy who participates in the off leash dog session that Bob Venuti was talking about. You know, and this is morning as well as afternoon, so they're often unleashed dogs, and it's often the professional dog walkers. During the day, the owners sort of take over after 5:30, and you'll see a step up in the amount of unleashed dogs. And then there's this nighttime group that's meeting now. So it's just, the problem is about 4 times worse this year than it was last year.
Okay.
So we really need your help, and we're glad that you're there, and glad that you have additional legal authorities, or at least lawyers looking into stuff. The issue, everyone is trained, all the dog owners, there's like a secret playbook that the dog owners who want to go off leash seem to be drilled in. Don't volunteer your license, don't volunteer your name, refuse to participate, and no one, I mean, I don't think any tickets have been given out. I think that's something, we heard that anecdotally from someone, so you would be able to tell us better, but not a whole lot of tickets have been issued.
Well, it's hard to think that we can approach someone, if they volunteer, we want to give us the license, and I'll issue a ticket, have to know who the person is.
Right.
It's unlike a housing inspection unit with a house. We got a property with an address, but that's something what our lawyers are looking at very, and if need be, if it becomes chronic, you get a police officer to come to us.
Well, I mean, I would also suggest that, you know, you guys might want to take a special look at some of the professional dog walkers. I have a real problem. I'm a former dog owner. I know a lot of people here think that Ford hates dogs, but I don't. I actually had a dog in the city for 10 years. And the way that I see some of these dog walkers treat the dogs is tantamount to abuse. I mean, he left a whole bunch of them just strung up, tied off to a fire hydrant, and 2 of the dogs were humping. You know, just this afternoon, I walked by and I had to go and say, "Bad boy," you know, but you know, I'm not going to stop them for that long. Leave her alone. I had a little looking up at you
And we do have resources, and we do, we have resources from the resident as an officer involved, so who has powers and we can seek assistance. So if we got it. Hopefully our presence would make a difference, and hopefully people will volunteer, you know, and give us the information.
Yeah, do you have a number, or who do you call? You say call us.
After 5, start Mayor's Hotline, 635-4500,
Mayor's hotline?
and after 5, if you're not the animal control unit, for 635-4000, that's for animal control. If I leave my direct, for times and stuff like you're talking about now, call me directly. I'll leave my card. Like if you're okay, this is if you give me a span of time, you say, okay, we need somebody out here 1 day a week, or you know, span 5 to 7, you call me directly. Emergencies, call the 4500 number after 5. If it's something that has to be a pack of dogs, an attack, something like that. If you call and just say, yeah, respond to groups, periods of time, give it to me so I can assign somebody.
You have a number?
I'll leave my card here.
Oh, all right.
I'm
My
just
direct.
wondering where Friends of Christopher Columbus Park is coming in on the dogs, do you know?
The Friends of Christopher Columbus Park worked with the former Parks Commissioner to put a whole bunch of signs up that you might see saying, you know, what the rules are for dogs, on leash, you know, no defecation, you know, pick up after your dog, all that kind of stuff. They're largely disregarded. So the Friends group really pushed to get those signs, and thinking signs were part of the answer. Right now, I think everyone is a bit flummoxed because it's just sort of like you're just watching something spin out of control, and you're seeing it unfold in slow motion and feeling that there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. That's what most of the people in the Friends group feel right now. I know Joanne, the president, was very active in trying to intercept the problem last year, but it's just got grown, I mean, it really has grown to the point where it's just, you know, you just can't. Anytime you go there, you're going to see unleashed dogs. And it's out of control.
Well, I'm an officer, like I said, at least once a week, in a park or vehicle, right there, animal control, walk up park, hopefully give a few tickets, waive a few tickets.
Do you use cameras at all ever, or would that be beneficial? Someone made, in our last meeting, the suggestion of surveillance sometimes is a good thing. Now, one thing that the Friends of Christopher Columbus has been sort of loath to do for all sorts of privacy reasons is put cameras up in the park. But you know, it's almost to the point where, you know, you sort of need to, but the problem is you could put cameras up, but through some loophole of the law, it could be totally, you know, like worthless. You know, well, we can't enforce anything that's on camera, we have to be there in person. Is that?
I'm not sure about that. I mean, if Mr. Cook putting in the park department, putting cameras up, and then us using that, or us taking that.
Or anyone putting, private individuals, or the booster groups like the Friends of Christopher Columbus.
I think it'd be a problem. Everyone's got cameras now, everywhere.
Yeah, but if there were a videotape feed of this, the only concern that I think a lot of us have is that we'd have all this video of all these dogs running around, and no one would own it. No one would say, we want to see that video. It would be like the NFL and the video in the elevator. I mean, no one would want to own it.
The other avenue is, and the hearings is, if you witness the same person or the same group or the same business doing time and time again, you give me, you know them, you give me a petition, and then I can have them come in for a hearing.
Okay, well, most
So
of
you know them, you'd have to come in, testify, you know them, I see people. That's what we do with the vicious dogs, the same thing.
Is anybody from Rock here tonight?
No.
On the agenda, they get the
Because I
agenda.
mean, they were very outspoken and very knowledgeable last time we met them and claimed that there wasn't a problem, so it would be nice to.
Well, this is an open meeting, and we would love to, we publish the agenda, we'd love to have them join the discussion. I mean, I made my position known, and I know that they're a little mad at me, but I think that they're sort of in denial. They don't want to acknowledge that the problem is as large as it is, because they feel like they can't do anything about it, so they want to see the world through rose-colored glasses. That's my personal interpretation. I'm not speaking for NEWRA, but that's what I'm hearing when I see someone sitting in front of us saying, I go there every evening and I see no problem. Bob and I are there a lot because of this lighting project, and we always see the problem. And you know, maybe the lady didn't know which park, Christopher Columbus Park.
Or people perceive it differently. Some people perceive that as being mean to the end. Not like they're running. I'm telling you, I've lived a lot like, so everyone's eyes is different. People that might look, wait a minute, you're telling me you got all these dogs, that's not fair to the animal. Let it run free. You know what I mean? It's really, so it's perspective. And, you know,
Right. We don't want to be mean to the animal, but we want the laws of.
no, I'm with you. That's why it's really, yeah, the laws are there and they're meant to be enforced. So that's what we kind of bridge together. We do a lot of that with people who get over, become wardens, animal wardens. You know, like in case that's like publicity, you see a lot with cats, people take on, and they take on, and they take on, and think, you know, it's well. I like that idea. I like that idea. I really, that, you know, it's a commercial business, and they should have, you're right. I like that.
Out of curiosity, I know when they do the census, people are supposed to say if they have dogs. Does the city have any kind of accurate count of how large the problem can be, or how many people you might need to help with enforcement? How many dogs are there in the city, and do you have any idea of how many that aren't licensed?
Funny you said that, because I don't know yet, but I know that query come up today. I know we have a license a little under 10,000 since April. April's up, beginning of our season. I don't know. I know that the press was asking that, and they went to the Census Bureau to find those statistics you're talking about. So I'm curious to see how those are.
It seems like there's more and more dogs, and I wonder how many, besides, you know, not being maybe properly vaccinated, but the big problem is that there's an awful lot more dogs than what the city thinks they have, then they're probably not going to ever be adequately staffed to enforce anything. You have laws, and it's useless if you don't have the staff because of such a large amount of dogs.
You're right.
For the whole city.
No, you're right.
All your good intentions would be very frustrating.
No, right now, and I'll be honest, it's all like this. It's all kind of complaint driven. You give me a complaint, but
it's hard for us to be proactive.
Things yet out there, and plus it's, yeah.
It's hard for the general public to be proactive when it becomes like the police. You call and they're so strung out that it's so not enough personnel, so they can't get to the problem until it's already too late.
But by the way, it would be also useful if you guys followed not just how many dogs are licensed, but the total poundage of dogs licensed, because I have a feeling that dogs are larger and larger dogs are being licensed in the city. And so, you know, if you had 100 dogs, that may have been, 3,000 pounds of dogs 10 years ago, and it could be 6,000 pounds of dogs now.
Does the dog license have to have the address of the owner?
No, we know, but we can get it to the license, that license, we get back to, we'll have the address, yeah.
But maybe if it was right on the collar, you'd know right away with, you say that they put the green tags on baggage, illegal rubbish because the green tag goes by the address of the house. Well,
Oh, no,
if you say,
if it's tagged, and we get the tag number, no, we just go back at the address, send a ticket. Yeah, if it's not, I remember when it was tagged or unleashed and not licensed, that's what, yeah, the license is done. And now a lot of them have chips. A lot of them have chips.
okay, thank you.
Thanks very much, John.
Thank you very much.